is everybody this afternoon? Is it too loud? Oh, it's not loud enough? Josh, could we get a little more audio, maybe? Now, is that any better for the audio? All right. No feedback going on there, just a little bit. All right. Well, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. And this is the August 15th, 2024 TARC in-person meeting. And thank y'all for being here tonight. I know there's a lot of things going on in this community tonight with family and activities and stuff like that. But for those that decided to come tonight, we really appreciate you. It's good to see y'all. We get to talk to a lot of each other, get to talk to each other on the radio. But I tell you what, nothing takes the place of getting to sit here and look at y'all, shake your hand, and talk to you face to face. So for me, that's a draw for amateur radio clubs, is to come face to face, because we can talk on the radio, but it's really great to see all of y'all in person. So I just want to welcome everyone, and what I'd like to do first is to recognize any guests or visitors that we have here tonight that's willing to raise your hand. Yes, sir.
AHF radio. I'm trying to get a program for my work. So.
Okay. All right. James, it's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. And also thank you for your service. We appreciate you and your family, sir. And thank you for choosing to come and visit with Tyler Amateur Radio Club tonight. And hope you come back. We do this every third Thursday. And we've got some activities throughout the year. And I guess you found our website. Everything's pretty well posted there. I get a thumbs up, James. Okay, very good. Thank you. Appreciate you. Are there any other visitors or guests tonight? All right. I guess we're all.
Stand up, James Wallace. Stand up. Stand up, James. James Wallace, nurse. And first time here. I think I joined last week before.
Okay.
Made a couple donations.
All right, James. All right, James. Good to have you here tonight. We appreciate you. Appreciate you choosing to be here. So thank you very much. What I'd like to do next is introduce our officers. And I see John sitting over here. John, if you want to stand, kind of wave. He's our vice president. And over here to my left is Josh. He's our secretary treasurer. And our audio, our AV guy, and YouTube guy, and everything else. So he keeps us rolling with everything. Jack here on the front. Steve, do I see you back there? All right, and I'm Gary. Serve as the TARC president. I covered everybody, didn't I? Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure. Josh, would you like to come and do our finance report, please?
All right, let's. I'm a little bit louder. All right. Sorry about that. We spent $19.17 last month. That's for our web hosting. We took in $118.53. That leaves us $61.77.18 in the bank. And we have 124 active members, which is pretty good. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Spending too much money there.
I know. We're working on curbing that spending. So, all right. Do we want to do that?
Please.
Repeater trustee update. I think the repeaters are working. Is that correct, Wayne?
Yep, the repeaters are working.
Awesome. And that's all I had.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you. Man, I don't know how I had this thing on here earlier. We'll try to do something with it again. All right, Josh, thank you so very much. Yeah, we are trying to curb our spending. We spent a lot for field day a couple months ago, so hopefully we're back on track, hopefully. We'll try to put some things in place for next field day that'll reduce those expenses, if you will. Butch wasn't able to join us tonight due to another event that he had going on, so Andrew is going to come in and update us on the testing.
Okay, so yeah, Butch is having chocolate cake and we are not, so
when you see Butch again, you'll have to get on to him. Testing is every second Sunday of the month, 2 p.m. I think everybody in here is licensed, but if there's anybody online that is not licensed, you do have to sign up for an FRN number that is issued by the SCC, and then you will come to the testing site with that FRN number, and that is how they register you in the system to take the test. They are back at the Red Cross building. They're no longer using this church temporary. Their renovations are complete. They're back in the Red Cross, second Sunday, 2 p.m. For all new testees and or upgrades. There were no testees showed up last Sunday, so there's no update to give from last Sunday's testing. But hopefully as things cool down and everybody starts to get out of the house again, it'll pick back up. So. Yes, thank you. We Butch and the VE team are doing the test on computers. Everything is electronic now, no more paper. And I'm hearing rumors that some people are getting their license issued as little as less than 48 hours because of the new electronic submission. So,
All right, Andrew, thank you so very much. I know Butch appreciates you filling in for him tonight. Joe, could you like to come give us an update on the loaner program, please, sir?
I'm Joe Lisbony. I administer the loaner radio program for the Tyler Amateur Radio Club, and currently loaned out we have 4 VHF, 4 HF, 4 all mode all band for a total of 12, and available we have 2 VHF, 1 UHF, and 1 all mode all band. And I do have one issue where there's a Wiley Swift, a KI5 UEM, has a bunch of our equipment loaned out. He has a HF, a VHF, and power supplies, a tuner, and he hasn't been a member in about a year and a half, and so I may have to go repo that radio, but anyway, I'm going to try to get in touch with him. But anyway, so if you need any radio, you know, any of the equipment that we have available, as long as you're a dues-paid club member, you're just fill out the form online. It may or may not get to me, but if not, just call me and come by my house, and we'll get you hooked up with a radio. And I do have I have quite a few coax patch cables. I have VHF, UHF antennas, insulators, you know, a lot of things like that you need, and connector adapters. So if you get in a bind, you need things like that, just give me a call, see if I have it. You know, I may be able to get you taken care of. So anyway, it's been going on for at least 5 years and been pretty successful. And I haven't. The only problem I've had so far is the one guy who hasn't, you know, kind of didn't rejoin, and I'm just going to have to get in touch with him and repossess those radios. But like I say, anything you need, just call me and I might have it. You know, I've got these radios that are listed. I've got, you know, patch cables, adapters, connector adapters, all those sorts of things. So anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Joe has a lot of equipment and a lot of adapters, and I think power supplies and everything on the list. And I do apologize for the email. The link on the TARC website has not been going to Joe. I know Josh and I have talked about we'll visit a little more to kind of see what's going on. So we'll try so that way the link, because we tell people to go to our website and click on it. So sometimes things just need to be refreshed or whatever and brought up to date. So we'll take a look at that and see if we can get that going again to make it easy, Joe. What we'd like to do there. So thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. I want to let y'all know. You know, we met at the Shrine location last month, Sharon Shriner's location center, and we're back here today. And it's good. It's good to be here, but we do appreciate John for allowing us to meet out there and their organization as well. I did mention last month that we were going to look at putting a field day meal committee together. We're going to move that discussion to the September meeting, but I did want to say one thing about it. If you're interested in finding out more about that or what would be involved with this committee, it'd be a committee that would meet occasionally to gear up to put things in place for our upcoming meal for the next field day in June of 2025. We want to get a head start on this because the new president coming in June 1 of 2025, I really would like that individual to come in here, and that committee be on there, and basically all he or she's going to get is a debrief. This is where we are, so that they can run with it. And so anyway, that's what it's for. Sir?
I was going to ask,
Sorry.
what is this new president of which you speak?
I'm sorry, John, I can't hear you. I am on 147.000. What'd you say? Yeah, so anyway, we want to, I don't know, it's just something I want to do, is to get things set up. So when we do change officers once a year, whatever the frequency is, that things are in place for them. Because I don't know how long some of y'all been involved with amateur radio clubs, but everything that we do, we volunteer for everything. Our time and equipment and our expertise and our knowledge in this hobby. And we've all got, looking across the room, we've got a variety of experience and skill sets. And the key thing is when your officers come in, like a president comes in, vice president comes in, you want to kind of have everything. Well, here we are, we got all this done so we can do these big events where, one, they get to enjoy it too. And the second is that all the folks that are there, visitors as well as club members, have a really good time, because that's what we want to do. We want people to have fun in this hobby, but also get to work, do some contesting as well. So that's why we do what we do for that, for the ARRL Field Day in June of each year. And hopefully it'll be cooler next year than it was, but we'll see what we can do about that. The other thing I want to jump out of line just a little bit is I did receive a call from the Tyler Cyclist group today. I've been in touch with them for about 4 or 5 weeks maybe now. Just kind of going back and forth with no details, but I want to let y'all know something we're looking at. I'll be talking to the officers and the board members about this. There's a 35th annual Beauty and the Beast cycle tour and race. Yes, I think I got all that in there. And it's going to be Friday, October the 11th through Sunday, October the 13th. It's a 3-day event. And I reached out to them to see if they might need communications, two-way radio communications. I understand the Tyler Club has done that before in the years past. I don't know if the need has been there because cell phone coverage, but cell phone coverage in the Bullard area used to be sketchy, few and far between. But when I talked, she called me today and apologized for not getting back sooner, just because there's been a lot of stuff going on. But she knew that we had a meeting tonight. I wanted to be able to say something, and I said I can't even mention it if y'all are not even interested in communications from the local club. So she's going to have the director of the, let's see, what is he? He's the race director, to reach out to me, and I gave her some information of what we could do, and just kind of a 30,000-foot view on that. So y'all be thinking about that. It's in October the 11th and through the 13th, Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. I don't know the exact times for each day, what that looks like. What we would do some pre-training. We would do some dry runs for it to kind of run a drill amongst just communications, and we would know where all the locations are and what the needs are. They are working with law enforcement for different things, and also they're going to be working with EMS as well. So I just told her, we do communications. We don't set the rules. We just do communications and volunteer back to the community for events like this if we can get enough of us to do it. And the other is if they actually need our communications. And she said, yes, we actually need some help with communications. So that was good to hear. Anyway, there'll be more coming out on that as I learn more. And I'll talk to the officers and see if this is something we're actually going to move forward with. But I thought it was a really good community activity, and also gives us an opportunity to try out our equipment away from the house and stuff like that, kind of in a more of a mobile type scenario. Okay, well with that, Josh, what do I need to do to bring this thing back over to the presentation tonight? Just to let y'all know, we're going to do a quick presentation on Echolink. How many in here has actually done Echolink? See a few hands coming up? Okay. Some have gotten into it, they've backed off. I'm not on it very much like I used to be, but I've been able to stay in touch with some ham radio operator friends around the globe and also from Colorado, which makes it very nice. So this is what I want to do is kind of give you a little history on it really quick. And the main thing I want to focus on is actually, there's some folks in Colorado standing by that we're going to try to talk to, try to set something up so we could actually do a live demo, because the live demos are a lot more fun than listening to me talk about Echolink, I think, personally. But I wanted to share a little history about this. And I don't know if y'all know, but back in 2002, Echolink was designed by K1RFD, and it's actually a free computer-based radio system. It's distributed free of charge, like most things are in amateur radio when it comes to software and so forth. But it does allow licensed amateur radio operators to communicate with other licensed operators, similar to what you know as Skype, if y'all have ever used that before. It's kind of the same ideal, if you will, or voice over IP. Like I said earlier, it does allow licensed amateur radio operators to communicate with other over the internet using a streaming audio technology. And again, it's similar to Skype if you've ever used that. It does allow worldwide connections to be made between stations and from computer to station. For an example of that, if I have my handheld and there is a repeater within range of my handheld and it has Echolink capability here in Tyler, and then my friends from wherever, they get on Echolink and they connect up to the repeater through Echolink. I'm on my handheld. They're coming through the internet, okay? I'm coming up through the repeater on RF from my handheld. And it works vice versa as well. Because what I do, I get on Echolink here in Tyler or wherever I'm at the time, and I communicate back to Palmer Lake repeater there just outside of Colorado Springs. And most of the folks that I know can use a handheld there in Colorado Springs and get back into the Palmer Lake repeater. They're going in on RF, I'm coming in through the internet, and we get to hold conversations. The other thing is you can actually connect up station to station, and I wanted to say something about that really quick. I didn't have it in the PowerPoint, but I wanted to just mention, when you do that, I would recommend to go ahead and continue to identify, as the FCC requires us to do, every 10 minutes and at the end of your QSO. For two things, I have not spoken to the FCC. I don't know how they feel about it, but when I'm connected, you're on your computer to computer going through Echolink and you're not doing any RF. In my mind, in my way of thinking, and just being a ham for several years, I still need to abide by what the FCC says for that station identification, if you will. I don't know how the FCC would look at that if you're not on RF and you're going through Echolink. I don't know, but this is what I would do and suggest, and this is what I do, is every 10 minutes and at the end of a QSO with another station, just to maintain the same thing if I was on RF. So anyway, that's my 10 cents worth, and that and $1.75 will get you a cup of coffee somewhere. There are actually 350,000 validated users worldwide, and I had to update this from the last time I did this presentation, but there's 159 of the world's 193 nations that has representation through Echolink. So if you ever get on there and look, you can select by different countries, and you'll be amazed at the countries that you see on there. And I didn't verify this, but at one time it was 6,000 online at any given time around the world. It will tell you how many connections are on, how many people are on at one time throughout the whole world. It does allow a reliable worldwide connection between licensed radio amateurs. The only thing is, if you're using Echolink, it is dependent upon internet. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind there. The other thing is, let me skip here just a little bit. You will hear the term node used in there when you do get your validate your license through the administrator, through Echolink. You'll get a node. It's like a 5 or 6 digit number, I think. And that's how people can find you, or by your call sign, or in the community that you live in. So there's a different way to search for amateurs that you want to seek out and talk to. And the good thing about there is no special hardware or software required to transmit via an Echolink node. All you got to do is download a free software and validate your call sign with the system administrator, and that's it. And it does not take long whatsoever, and there's no charge for that. Do make sure, well, you will have to, before they allow you to use it, you will actually have to validate your call sign. They want to make sure you're a licensed amateur radio operator. I actually had to send a copy of my license in when I did this years ago. I don't know what the requirements are now. One thing that some of y'all might want to know, that it's actually written to run on 32 and 64-bit versions of Microsoft Windows. And I've had a lot of people say, well, Gary, I don't have that. I've got an Android or something. As you see on the screen there, it does talk about there are other software that you can use, Apple mobile devices for your iPhone, typical iPhone, iPod Touch, and then iPad. And it's also, you can get those from the Apple App Store. And for y'all that use the Android, you can go from Google Play and several other Android app providers to download the software for there too. There's some people that do that and some that do not. Here is a screenshot. I can make, this is actually available on our YouTube site through the video that Josh is posting, that you can get that. And if you need something more or even a copy of the presentation, you can let me know, and I'll email it to you or however whatever format you want, just let me know. But that's kind of a screenshot of what it looks like. And when we do a live demonstration here in just a minute, we'll show you actually how it works. You can kind of see it kind of in motion, if you will, as opposed to a still picture like what you're seeing here on the screen now. Any questions? That's a lot of stuff in a short period of time. Any questions? Sir?
You talked about connecting to a handheld, with a handheld.
Yes, sir.
You mean, what kind of handheld? Do you mean like a digital handheld?
No, it'd be actually analog. I can take.
That's just like a regular 2-meter?
Yes, sir. Just like a regular 2-meter analog type setup.
Are any of our repeaters set up for this?
No, sir, not on the repeater, and not on the Tyler amateur radio repeater system. No, sir, there's not. I do want to say that there's one of the East Tex repeaters that has Echolink capability.
Occasionally, not
Occasionally. Okay, not for me, okay. And when I lived in Colorado, my mom used to live in Athens, and she'd have severe weather in Henderson County, and I would get on Connect Up, and they usually would have some information for weather, and that's where I'd get it, as opposed to just trying to look at radar and so forth. So you can actually, I have actually family members in other parts of the country, when hurricanes are in their area or they can't get hold of a friend or whatever, will call me, and I can either try to use HF, try to find somebody close by, or I can get on Echolink and find a repeater in that area where they're wanting to try to get hold of someone. And it's the coolest thing there ever was. You can get hold of an amateur radio operator in a different state via Echolink and their own RF on the repeater like we normally use. And I tell them who I need to contact and stuff. They'll make a phone call, and I usually do that. I can pick up the phone and call too, but they will actually let me know what's going on in their community. Well, that community has suffered damage from high winds or a tornado or whatever, so that part of town doesn't have any communications, and I can get that information back to friends or loved ones that are called wanting to check on someone else. So that's pretty much what we do with amateur radio is assist when we can. Yes, sir.
Have we changed with this? 10 years ago, Butch told me about this, and it took about 2 minutes to just download onto an iPhone the app, and you push the app and it saved your call sign, and you go down a long list of things, and it had Tyler. And I remember being back and forth to Houston, and be sitting in Houston just on my iPhone, no ham radios, pushing the app for Echolink.
Yes,
and then under favorites, Tyler, and I'd simply get on and call Butch just like I would with a handheld here in town, and he would answer. And the only difference was that you had to push one button to transmit, then push another button to receive.
Yes, sir.
And now none of that is functional here anymore.
Andrew, you have a...
The lightning strike on the Jonestown Tower took it out about 3.5 years ago. And we just haven't replaced it since.
Well,
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
it has been replaced by All-Star because there was more interest in All-Star. There was not a sufficient, after the Echolink thing failed, there wasn't enough interest at the time to rebuild it. But then there later was for All-Star, but hardly anybody uses that, which is great. Fine with me.
Wayne, thank you for that. I forgot about that. I remember asking when I first moved back to East Texas, I asked, well, does repeater system here, have Echolink, and that's what, I might have asked you one, you might have been the one that explained it to me, so thank you for that. Any other, thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Any other questions? All right. Josh, if I can do this without messing anything up, let's just move on and make some contacts. If we can, we'll see if we can connect up. Not sure what I'm... Excellent. Thank you. All right. Y'all see that screen, okay? Something I just want to show you, what I did before the meeting started tonight, I went on here. Josh loaded Echolink onto his laptop for the demonstration purposes tonight. I went in and took the liberty and put, as you see, N0OBA, and the dash R means it's a repeater. If you don't see a dash L or a dash R, that's what you would see if you were looking for me or somebody was looking for you. You're only going to see your call sign. That tells me that you're just an individual. You're either on the air, you're either connected through Echolink or you're not. But a dash L is for a link, and a dash R is for, it's actually installed on the repeater. So what I did, I took, actually it's N0XLF is the one, I think he's the repeater trustee, or OBA is, I can't remember which one it is. But the repeater is in Palmer Lake, Colorado, just north of Colorado Springs, and you can actually reach that repeater with an HT. And the guys that I'd kind of talked to about a week or so ago, I've got ones out there in the far east part, Ellicott, east of Colorado Springs, kind of out there in the flatland before you get to Kansas, or that direction east towards Kansas. And the other two are actually there in Colorado Springs, and they can sit there in their recliner on 2.5 or 5 watts and key up that Palmer Lake repeater, which has Echolink capability, and then we're going to connect up and see if we can actually do a demo. So what you do when you get it all downloaded and you set all your parameters, that's something that'll take a little while. We're not going to go through that tonight just because of the interest of time. Basically just want to show you how it works and make a live contact and let you know how it works. The first thing you want to do, did you see a little greenish looking area down there at the bottom? That's where you want to put your cursor and click on that, because once you do, what you're going to do to activate this on a laptop or on your PC at the house, you're going to hit your space bar on your keyboard. And that's what's going to fire this thing up to transmit. And when you're ready to quit transmitting, you hit the same space bar, and it goes back into receive mode. And it will tell you down here on the bottom right-hand side, there's a TX and an RX to let you know. Well, a TX will let you know when you're transmitting, and an RX is when another signal's coming through. So anyway, I just want to share that with y'all. So what I will do is just, I'm going to go up here and double click on Palmer Lake, and then I'm going to go back down and try to remember to click on that green area, because if I don't, when I push the space bar, I won't be able to talk. So we'll connect up with Palmer Lake first. So we are connected to the repeater. I don't know if it's going to ID or not. Thought I'd wait a couple of seconds there. And Brad just connected up on his cell phone. I see him there on the screen. And the only way that you can see who all is connected up is you have to be on Echolink. If I'm out there in my mobile or sitting in my shack on my radio side, I don't know.
Zero RSI.
Actually, I won't see that, so. KEB5 AEB, Texas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gary. Good to hear your voice, even though you sound like you're in an echo chamber.
Hey, Steve. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm sitting here this evening with the Tyler Amateur Radio Club down here in Tyler, Texas, out here in beautiful, hot, and humid East Texas. And, man, we appreciate you. We just wanted to do a live demo for Echolink for the club members tonight. And we're also, I believe we're live on Facebook as well. And this is being recorded so folks can watch it later if they so choose to. But man, I really appreciate you taking the time this evening from Colorado to jump on here and allow us to do a live demonstration. Over.
Roger, Gary. Well, I had a choice. I could talk on the radio, or I could sit and watch Entertainment Tonight. on the TV. So I opted for the former. So you got me trapped for a little bit. So I'll be here for a little while, as long as you take. So anyways, we're nice sunny day here in Colorado. We're sitting about 81 degrees, dry. Tomorrow we're supposed to get up to 92, I think, so looks like our whole weekend's in the 90s, but big difference between me and you. Our humidity is dry. We're down around the 15 to 20% range. This is KE0 RSI, back to you.
Roger that. Well, Steve, I got a few chuckles, or you got a few chuckles out here, and I see some smiling going on. We're sitting at 92 degrees sunny, and we're showing a heat index of 101 and a 52% humidity, but it sure feels a lot more muggier out there than what that weather, those stats are right there. But anyway, well, man, it sure is good to hear you, and actually, we had one of our club members here. He has his cell phone with him when Echolink is on that as well. And I saw him connect up just a minute ago over here on the screen. So I think that was a pretty cool little demo as well, because we had one of our guys sitting here in town connected up to you guys via Echolink there in Colorado. So that's pretty cool. Well, I don't know if Gary or if Jim was going to be on here tonight. So I'm going to pause for just a second and see if one of those guys are around here, because I don't want to hold the repeater too long. And I appreciate Scott up there in Palmer Lake for keeping this system up and running, connected to the repeater there. So we really do appreciate that, because it allows us guys down here in Texas to talk to you guys up there in Colorado. So with that, I'm going to stand by for a couple, 3 seconds and see if Gary or Jim's in there. So KB5 AEB. All right, Steve. Well, I guess you get the blue ribbon tonight for showing up, so we really appreciate that. Anyway, hey man, it's good to hear from you, and I really appreciate you for taking the time to connect up tonight, or get on the air tonight, so we can connect up to Palmer Lake Repeater and to say hello and do a live demonstration. Really appreciate you, Steve, very much.
This is KE0 RSI. Well, Gary, my pleasure. I hope your attendees enjoyed the demo. Hey, you ought to try Packet sometime. I've been doing Packet up here now, so, and the C4FM angle, so it all works great.
Uh-oh, we just lost battery. Okay, is that all it did? Okay, technology at its best. That's all right. Let me come back around this way. Brad, do you still have connection with them? I can't connect. Would
Transmit something for you?
Brad may have it.
I mean, I'm on as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to just let him know that we crashed the laptop, and just want to let him know. Thank you.
Just to let you know, Gary's computer just laid down on him. So anyway, appreciate you assisting with the live demo. And I'm going to turn it back to you. And this is KC5 with AL.
Did he respond back, John? All right. Sounds like John got it back on. So. Cool. I got the thumbs up. Okay. Well, that's all I had. Sorry for the crash. That's technology at its best. It is what it is, but that's kind of how it works. Gene?
For the odd people like me that use Linux, there's a program, Qtel,
Qtel.
which also does it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
open source.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
And me and Brad has an All-Star node that also has Echolink integrated into it. So we can get on All-Star and then go for Echolink will know, so it's kind of nice.
Right. Too cool.
Yes.
So, for those that are interested, there's a variety of ways to do this. So, but it's there. Again, you have to have internet connection, and I couldn't even get onto it with my cell phone. Usually, I've gotten onto Echolink in this building before, but I wasn't able to tonight. But I know Brad did and John did. John, thank you for doing that. He got the message that we crashed. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, and,
All right.
anyway, he said he enjoyed the Q, so.
Cool deal. Well, thank you. Okay, well, that's all I had for that. I was going to ask, are there any other questions about Echolink? All right. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
What's it take to put Echolink on the repeater? What's the device? Or what's the configuration?
I don't know.
A computer with a sound card. The one that we had before was a Pi. And I understand that All-Star may be capable of also hosting Echolink, of serving All-Star and Echolink. But I really don't care.
If you go to the Echolink, that's a conversations link for the All-Star.
I don't know. I don't know if we put that in there. I don't.
Yeah, it's not installed right now. We can install it.
Yeah, install it if you want.
I will just kind of to your question there. I like Echolink. I get on there every once in a while, and I have my purposes for it. I like to talk to my guys who are in Colorado, and there's some over there in Finland that I stay in touch with that I knew from the States, and he's in Finland, but I can't connect up to him in Finland. So he has to connect to a mutual friend of ours in Germany, and we go through his repeater. He comes in on Echolink into that repeater, and I do too. Now, him and I could actually connect together and not have to go through a repeater. We can connect from station to station, from cell phone to cell phone using Echolink, using the internet, but it's a lot more fun when we kind of do the RF side. And the reason for that, because once others know you're from the States, in a different country, and they hear you, they're on RF, and they hear you, now they want to talk to you. It's the same thing on HF. It's kind of, they'll hear you. Well, I haven't talked to Texas in a long time. There's hardly any of your ham radio operators down there. I kind of kid when I say that, but maybe somebody just doesn't get to talk to a lot of different areas. Maybe propagation is not favorable, and so they want to get hold of someone down there, and you can do that. The only part about propagation affecting Echolink, if you're going through the repeater system, that's pretty well it. Also, I like to use it for monitoring the hurricane watch nets. You get the updates pretty much. It depends on how severe the hurricane is, usually on the hour, and when they activate. And also, they run the hurricane nets also on 20 meters and 40 meters when needed as well. And I usually will just connect up when I'm sitting in the shack and just monitor what's going on with the hurricane. So it's just different things for different folks. It's what we have in the amateur radio hobby. There's so many different things, and some people like this, some people, no, it's not for me, and other people say, well, I'm going to try that. Next thing you know, that's what they're doing all the time. But that's what makes this hobby so much fun. And then on top of that, we do have the community involvement and so forth. Skywarn is the number one that I can think of. I know a lot of my neighbors in the HOA. We have an HOA Facebook page. I give them the Broadcastify link to our repeater, and I can be watching the Facebook, and I'll post something when we have something for severe weather for Smith County, and I see all the likes on my Facebook page, and I'm looking at Broadcastify, and I'll see the numbers go, they'll just increase. I don't know if that's people in my neighborhood or not, but someone's wanting to listen to the Skywarn, the Smith County Skywarn on Broadcastify, listening through our repeater system. So with that, I say this. We have a lot of non-amateur radio operators listening to us on the air. We have a lot of people in the public listening to us on the air. And they're listening to us because they say, hey, those guys, they're trained. And I told them we go through training with the National Weather Service, and we have an organized net, and we are only going to transmit information when we have something weather related, severe weather, based on the criteria given to us by our net control operators, whoever that may be at the time. And that's what our purpose is to put the eyes on the weather, to give this back to Smith County or to the National Weather Service, whatever the protocol is for that. We follow our protocol. That way, we don't have 25 of us over here trying to call the National Weather Service in Shreveport, Louisiana, and telling them kind of the same thing. Because they've got a lot going on when they're issuing warnings and watches. And when I was in Colorado, we worked directly with Pueblo National Weather Service. They were all licensed amateur radio operators. They were on our repeater at Pikes Peak all the time, 7 days a week. We ran a check-in net. This is what we did. And but each National Weather Service office has a director, and they get to choose what their involvement's going to be with amateur radio, and if their staff is actually licensed or not. It just depends on what their budget is and what they want to do. Because when they do get licensed and they put equipment in at that National Weather Service office, someone has to maintain that. And our club up there in Colorado would do that. Or there was a club that would do that. Not the one I was in, but another one would do that. So we made sure they had an operational radio, a backup radio, and they knew how to swap them out, and they knew how to operate the 2 meter or the 440, 70 centimeters, whatever. And they would call us if they had something technical wrong with something, so they let us know. But we made sure they had an antenna, coax, power supply, and the radio that they needed to get into the Pikes Peak repeater. So that's kind of what we did up there. But every National Weather Service office is going to work a little different because the director has different budgets and staffing requirements and everything else. So that's all I had to say about Echolink and that. I don't know how I got off the National Weather Service, other than it's something it's an interest of mine with severe weather in Smith County Skywarn. Joel, yes sir.
I just wanted to say, if any of you guys get to go to Norman, Oklahoma, I just spent a week and a half up there, approximately 10 days, and I got to go to the National Weather Service office up there. I got to only tour the first floor, but if they can get a group of 12 to 20 people at one time, in about a month or two, they're going to do a big group tour of the entire building. They have federal agencies there, they have National Weather Service there, they have groups, school kids, radios, everything you can imagine. So if anybody gets to go, please do. It's all free.
Cool. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate you sharing that. Is there anything else before we adjourn, and we can just kind of fellowship and chit-chat for a little bit if y'all like to? Joe?
I did read, probably in QST, where there was a bill supposedly going through Congress that if you had an amateur radio operator's license, that HOAs could not prevent you from putting up antennas.
I've heard of that.
I've heard of the Parity Act. I believe that's what it's called. Gene shaking his head. I've been following that for years. A lot of stuff will make it through the House, but will be squelched in the Senate. I think that's the direction it goes, the way we're organized. And it will usually make it through one part of Congress, but it won't make it the other way. I've been in HOAs in Colorado for years, and then I'm in one now. I always look at the covenant before I lease or purchase. My wife and I do. And there's a few things. I'll get the PDF and I want to do a control F for find, and I go through there to look for transmitters, antennas, and I kind of find out what my restrictions are. I've been in those in Colorado. I cannot have any transmitters outside of a garage door opener, a TV remote, and a cell phone. No antennas, no transmitters. When it says no transmitters, that means no amateur radio, period. There's also a lot of good techniques for stealth antennas and so forth like that. Many of y'all have heard those, seen those. If you watch YouTube, there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. You can get very creative. But the Parity Act, once it actually makes it through, and it's actually signed into law, if I'm saying that right, that would have probably more teeth in it than it would just being out there. But I don't know, it just depends on, I talked to my HOA, I talked to them, and we stay in touch on Facebook, and they're very interested in severe weather with Smith County Skywarn. They really don't understand. All they know is there's a bunch of guys out there with guys and gals out there with radios. When severe weather's coming up in Smith County, they're talking about it. Well, they want to hear what we're saying. And because we get some close calls down there where I live. And people want to kind of know what's coming our way. So I don't know, that's just part of it, because you never know if you're going to get any amateur radio licensed radio operators out of people monitoring us on scanners, broadcast fire, whatever. That's if they like what we're doing. You never know. They may get some interest, and the next thing you'll know, Butch and the team will actually be testing them on the laptop. You never know. So they may become amateur radio operators, and we can join them into this great hobby. All right, that's enough for me. Anything else before we adjourn? All right. Josh, I just want to thank you again for everything you do for all the audio, video stuff. I have no idea how he does it. He does it. So thank y'all very much, and let's hang for a while and let's chit chat. Good to see y'all. Thank y'all for being here.